It's not like I'm sharing my struggle with my relationship or a car. That's a personal matter. I'm sharing my fucking struggle in your fucking workplace. Okay? So if there is a stress and high stress that is caused by something that is happening at work, no, it is not my individual only matter. Like it's so ridiculous for me that we see like you just need to do this and that doesn't affect anything in your life. And whatever happens in your head, your own thing. Just deal with it, all right? But perform. Before we start, just a quick reminder. I am not a licensed mental health professional, and this podcast is not a replacement for professional healthcare. The conversations shared here are for educational and entertainment purposes only and are not intended as a substitute for medical or therapeutic advice. What's shared reflects personal perspectives and experiences. If you are struggling or need support, please seek help from a qualified professional near you. Reaching out for help is a strong and healthy step, and there is no shame in doing so. But now, let's get back to the conversation. Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Eliza, and I'm grateful, happy, and extremely glad that you're joining MeTimePod today. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And let me just start with one thing. I don't care about educating workplaces. There, like out of the bat, just here, I said it. And it's actually interesting. I will explain a little bit later what this means and why. This episode actually comes as a very spontaneous action, but if you have ever had the sensation that you have fire under your butt, you have to act on it. So this is my action towards that fire that's under my butt right now. Let me explain. I joined this beautiful group of neurodiverse women and all kinds of business owners or Instagram content creators. And there was this prompt that said, what would be one thing you would share online if you gave 0 fucks? Now, there are a bunch of those, all right? But the few that came to my mind were mainly related to workplaces, to corporate world, to my experiences and the bullshit that now I'm reflecting back and I want to call it out. Actually, I have been wanting to do it for a while. I was thinking of doing, but I never really did it because obviously there's still part of me, but what if someone says something and what if they see it, like actually the people who said or did or didn't do something. So I never really did. And now this prompt, what would you say online if you would give 0 fucks? It just got me like sharing. And that's still not it. That still didn't spark that fire, by the way. The fire was sparked after the response from the admin, from the girl who shared this prompt, saying that, I remember you shared it already once, and maybe it's something like you could do about, like you could educate workplaces about ADHD, for example, because that's part of the topic as well. And that got something boiling in me. Like, when I say boiling, I cannot emphasize enough. Something sparked and it just lit up to the point that I couldn't stop. There was, because she already mentioned something like that back like a few weeks ago, and it didn't sit well with me, and I was questioning it, and I was like, no, something doesn't feel right. And now I realized I don't care about educating workplaces about anything. Nothing. I was like electricity, and it was lots of like realizations, and I will share more about this afterwards. So if I don't care about educating workplaces, what I do care about, so I will share that part a bit later in my story. But first I will share those examples that shaped some of these maybe not so good experiences. Actually, no, not maybe. They're fucked up experiences. They're shitty experiences. Sorry for my language. Not sorry, but you know what I mean. Like, there will be more. So if you are a bit sensitive towards potty mouth, there will be more. All right. Anyways, this prompt and this answer exchange really helped me clarify and expand my purpose, expand the purpose of MeTimePod, not to change it, but actually just to expand it. So I will talk about that. First, as I said, I'll share some of the worst experiences I have had in the corporate world and how they affected me, and how I know that I don't want to go back to that, never ever again. By the way, my corporate experience is not that long. I know that there are people working 20 years or more in the corporate world and so on. I stayed for maybe maximum 5 years in different roles, different companies, and that's it. That's it. That's it. This year was the last year when I realized that it's enough. It is not for me in no setting, office, non-office, remote, non-remote, whatever it is. It's not for me. It's not mine. And there are some things that did leave this mark that I cannot really unsee. When I sense bullshit, I cannot unsense it or unsee it. I call it my bullshitometer. You will hear bullshitometer throughout this whole thing. But once I sense it, I can't pretend that all is well and nothing happened and it's normal. I cannot pretend that it's normal. Another important thing I actually realized as I was writing, like I wrote 9 pages in a matter of a snap, and it rarely happens, by the way. I love writing, but just rarely happens. So as I was writing the notes for this recording, I think it would be a paragraph for a page for a book or something. I realized that I actually had to like exhale multiple times as I was writing. And it felt like as if kind of finally processing the things that have happened or have been said, and like finally just kind of letting it go. And it really feels, writing them out already felt like a release, but I think talking about it as well will kind of change something. Well, we'll see. And if you have any examples from your work life, corporate or any kind of experience, feel free to share if you feel safe to do it. I would love to hear what are some other experiences people are going through related to mental health or well-being or any kind of these very normal things we are asking for, right? Share it with a friend as well so that they know perhaps when to call out bullshit. Because honestly, when I heard or was commented on about certain things, I froze and I never really talked about or confronted any of the bullshit that was shared. So maybe this can inspire someone else to call out any kind of crap that is thrown their way. It might sound like a rant. Maybe it is, maybe it will be, but I also hope that, as I said before, that it can help someone listening or watching identify any bullshit in their workplaces and call it out and not be okay with it and either leave or change something or talk about it, whatever it is, whatever feels right, whatever you feel safe to do. That's very important, to feel safe to do it. So that's another thing. Also, another disclaimer, I will share experiences I went through, and I'm the first one to also remind to everyone about their well-being, about their health, mental health. And at least that's what I'm doing for the past couple of years now. But what really, really sucks, and I'm trying to let that go as well, is that early in my career, a person told me that they are resigning because of me, my attitude towards them, my behavior. So that really sucks because I have never been a person who wants to harm someone. So it sucks to be the reason for someone to leave a workplace. And I know that I was a shitty manager. I actually acknowledge it. I actually feel like I can do so much better. I know that. And I wish I would have known better and I would have had this wisdom I have now and the knowledge I have now. Also, I wish I would have had like some guidance and support towards managing other people. But again, I'm not trying to find excuses or anything. It was just part of the process. I just look back, and that is kind of this little gray spot in the picture that, well, it happened. The only thing I can do is apologize if by any chance this person is watching the episode. I'm so sorry. I honestly wish I would have known better. And I hope that the person now has someone, a manager that actually recognizes the talents and is not a shitty manager. So yeah, that's that. Anyhow, oh my goodness, I feel like we already have went through like half of the episode. But now there are three experiences I will share. One is related to someone's death. Other is related to C-level management addressing mental health and depression and someone's emotional stability. And the third one is about an HR and ADHD, not to give spoilers. So let's go. Let's start with the first one. So, supervisor, a boss, and my grandmother's death. And just for the record, quick note, I live in Cyprus and I'm originally from Latvia. So my family, my relatives are there. So in case if something happens, I literally just need to drop everything and go back overseas on the other side of Europe. And I had to do that. Unfortunately, there was a situation. I got a call. Mom called, grandma died. So obviously, immediately I booked the first flight, informed the so-called boss, and I left. And I went back home. And I thought there is nothing. I mean, it's a very serious occasion. And I thought that it's just normal, which I don't think it, I know that it's a normal thing to do. You go home to your relatives. You have a close relative that has died. So anyways, I have to mention that while I was selecting the coffin for my grandma, I did get a work call as well. So that's interesting. I didn't have good boundaries back then. I need to acknowledge that, but still, not okay. Anyway, so, the whole funeral passes, everything. I spent some time in Latvia as well, because also going Cyprus, Latvia is not the, easiest or cheapest travel. So, since I'm there, I spent some time as well. I did have my laptop with me. So after the funeral, I was available online. I was working, even though I was meeting friends and, catching up with people, but I was also working and available online. Anyhow, now that I get back home, home meaning Cyprus, when I get back, and I had a meeting with this boss, I just don't want to call this person a boss, that basically, word by word, I got informed that it's not okay that I just announce that I'm leaving to Latvia and that I leave. Okay, that it's not okay that I do that. And I was so shocked in the moment. I was like, but my grandma died. Like, what do you mean? She raised me like as a kid. Like, what do you mean? That's it. What do you mean? What the fuck? And that I was also available online, and it's not like I wasn't around. Like, what the hell? Anyhow, common sense, dude. It was a very shitty move, obviously, and afterwards it felt like, moving forward, it felt even shittier. Bullshitometer was like skyrocketing, on fire. I think very soon after I resigned, I don't even remember anymore, but I didn't stay much longer. What I wish I would have done, just leave on spot. Behaviors like these are so unacceptable and just, I can't comprehend. It's absolutely disgusting. In any kind of environment, be it work or be it with any kind of people around you who question your decisions that are related to someone else's passing, fuck that. We don't question that shit. Someone died and the other person is suffering. The other person is grieving. So making any kind of comments about someone's death, you have to be a very shitty person. What I wish I would have said it, that you're a shitty person, you're a shitty manager, and you should never ever be manager in the first place. And the bare minimum you could do is learn just glimpses of empathy and trust your employees. Like that, I wish I could have said it back then. I freeze. In the moments of these kind of situations, I freeze. And it comes to me afterwards that that's not okay. This is what I can say, so and so on. Audio processing not functioning for me, and the processing of what I feel and what I experience and what I want to say, I'm struggling there as well. So that, but I wish I would have said it. And I think if I look back at this experience, actually, I think it was the first kind of like a slap for me to recognize what are my values and what is my actual value, and that I don't have to let shit like this slide, and that it's okay and I can call people out for behaviors and comments like this, that they are highly inappropriate, beyond inappropriate. Yeah, so I think that's like the lesson in a way that came out of it. So this is the number one. Let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced something similar? Like, how do you deal with this kind of comments if you have heard anything like this? Let me know. I'm very, very curious. And I wish we shouldn't need to talk about it, but I'm also aware that this is reality, unfortunately. Topic number 2. So the title of this one is that mental health is solely your responsibility. And it's every individual's own responsibility, and that's it. And that was a response by a C-level representative of a company. Okay, so let me give you the backstory as well, so you understand what is happening. So there was a moment a few years ago, I was severely burned out, and I was depressed and numb. That was also the time when I was recognizing what is ADHD, and I was going through the diagnose phase, or maybe it was a little bit later on. So I still didn't have the ADHD diagnosis, but there were signs. Like the bullshit meter was like very, very high. Anyway, so as I was in this phase of just complete numbness, I shared it also with the HR. Like, I never share that I need why I need time off, because time off is a normal thing to do. But when the moment when opening laptop was just causing me shaky hands, complete anxiety and tears, and I would just stare at the screen and cry, that's when that's it. You have reached some sort of a limit. And then that moment also I wrote in the reasoning of why I'm taking days off immediately due to burnout. So I would assume that the people who are making decisions see those notes. And moreover, I talked about it with the HR. Anyway, so it's a whole different kind of a bullshit. Like, no one even checked on me when I came back from these couple of days that I took off. I don't know, for me it feels like another, like, just a normal thing to do, like, especially if you know that someone in your team is struggling with something, with anything, without going into much detail, just check in on them. Person is struggling with something, check in on them. Don't push them back into the same pit where they were before and expect them function like they did before. I mean, 3 fucking days do not cure burnout. Common sense, again, like, I'm trying not to get really, really pissed off, but I think it will come. Anyhow, at that point, like, my trust was completely gone to the whole system. And at that point, because I wasn't feeling well and I was trying to talk about the mental health a little bit more. I realized how important of a topic it is for anyone, not just for me. And I decided to check in with my manager, a C-level manager, because I also saw that around the world there are more and more companies implementing some sort of mental health support practices. Now, how effective they are, I don't know. But because I saw all these examples, we're like, why don't we do something like that, right? So I asked this manager, my direct manager, like, has the company considered any actions, anything to support employee mental health? To which I received a clear answer. It's like, yeah, I hear you, but it's everyone's personal individual responsibility. Again, I froze. Unfortunately, it's such a pity because I have so much to say about it. It's not like I'm sharing my struggle with my relationship or a car or something. That's a personal matter. I'm sharing my fucking struggle in your fucking workplace. Okay. So if there is a stress and high stress that is caused by something that is happening at work, no, it is not my individual only matter. For fuck's sakes. Like, it's so ridiculous for me that we see, like, you just need to do this and that doesn't affect anything in your life. And whatever happens in your head, your own thing. Just deal with it, all right? But perform. Okay, added thing to this, which added even more fire, let's say, to the bullshitometer, is that this same manager later on, in a performance review, sitting next to an HR, commented that there should be improvements made to ensure or support or something like that my emotional stability. Yes, improvements should be made to ensure or support my emotional stability. And that you say to a person who has openly shared struggles with depression, who is very vulnerable in that moment. I was about to break down right there and then, but obviously my masking skills have been trained for 30 years or so. So I was, of course, like, okay, yeah. And again, because I froze, I couldn't tell them that what you're saying is absolute garbage. And it's not my emotional stability that we need to discuss. It's the system that we need to discuss. It's the operations that we need to discuss. And why is that causing my, let's say, emotional instability? Okay, if there is one. All right, because people don't go emotionally unstable for no reason, if we want to use those words, which personally I don't. I was just going through a rough patch, and you call it as emotional instability. It still blows my mind. It's incredible. Anyhow, as I said, I froze. And again, as you know, or if you don't know, I can share that for ADHDers, our audio processing is garbage, and the on-spot reactions are garbage as well. They're delayed because it's very hard at least for me, to identify what it is that I'm feeling right now and what it is I need to say. Because, of course, I can say something, but it will come from a place, most probably from a place of masking. So I was just left speechless. And I did carry it for a couple of days, and I decided to at least send an email to this manager and to HR and to ask for clarifications. Like, can you clarify what you mean? Do you have any examples of where I have shown my emotional instability? And what do you mean? I also highlight that it is very inappropriate to and very insensitive to give such comments to someone who is, as I said, openly talking about burnout and depression and trying to see what can be done. And mind you, this company, as many others, are preaching employee well-being. So what's with that? I didn't get an answer. Like it was it was literally just HR trying to cover his ass. So here is the part what I wish I said there and then on spot. I would remind probably the conversation we had earlier and he's the manager's views on employee mental health being solely individual matter. I would remind that I have been quite actively talking about mental health and flagging different issues and also providing solutions. It's not like I'm just giving you, hey, this is a problem. Like I'm trying to give also some kind of potential solutions. And there was no action except donuts in the kitchen. Wow. So yeah, and I would probably also remind, especially actually that knowledge came to me afterwards, that there have been studies that say that companies and managers have more impact on individuals' mental health than the therapists. So, yeah, you do have responsibility to bear towards your team if you want it to be a team and not just random people working together. And as I said, yeah, I would definitely call out the inappropriate, insensitive things to comment about emotional stability. What the hell? That's so crazy. Yeah. As I said before, I spoke out of the emotion earlier, but as I said, if a person is struggling with burnout, with stress, in a workplace, it's rarely just a purely personal, individual issue. It's an issue of the system. It's an issue of the culture, of the operations. So as a bare minimum, just don't tell the person that it's their responsibility alone, or don't ask how they want to resolve a situation, because that also I have received towards myself when I communicated that I'm experiencing anxiety and stress, specifically in work-related matters. And I was being asked how I want to resolve it. I don't know. You tell me. It's your job. I don't know. I don't have to figure out how to solve the system. Especially if you preach employee well-being and, all these beautiful terms that we will also talk about a bit later. You see, the exhale. It's like, I feel like I'm just releasing so much of this heaviness that I have been carrying for a few years now. And I don't want it to be just a nagging feeling, So it's good to talk about it every now and then. And again, I hope I don't wish this resonates, but if it does, share your experience somewhere in the comments, send a message or an email. And I don't know if I can help, but at least I can be there to see you, to hear you, to remind you that you are not alone and that it's okay to call bullshit out. All right? Okay, a little bit of stretch. A little bit of water. If you are listening or watching, don't forget to drink your water. Also, I don't know if you can hear my neighbors in the background. It's a Sunday afternoon that I'm recording, and it's, lunchtime. And I'm in Cyprus, where people get very loud. So I hope you don't hear them. If you don't, then my recording platform is doing miracles with the sound background noise removing. So let's see. Okay, let's go ahead with the third example, real life example. This one goes to all ADHDers and any folk who is neurodiverse or anyone who cares about neurodiversity. Head of HR, during a meeting, asked me, what is ADHD? So let me again give you the background story. So that was the moment where my therapist suggested that I might have ADHD and it would be good to check out, like to get the diagnosis if I want to, which I wanted to. And while that process was happening, I was, I was trying to understand what ADHD is, and I did not have the language to explain it. I was trying to understand also how it affects me, but what I knew for a fact, I was struggling, and I was struggling a lot in the noisy office. I was struggling with the focus. I was struggling with the task initiation. All these very typical things for ADHDers, and I didn't know what it is, right? So I shared these struggles I was experiencing, hoping for some sort of support, advice, some kind of supportive word, anything, to be honest. It was already a confusing time. And then when I shared that, it might be, due to ADHD, and the girl looked at me, I was like, ADHD? What is ADHD? I... Exactly as I sound right now, I think I sounded back then. It was already during a very confusing time. I did not have the language to speak about ADHD. Even now, I still don't, but now I have a little bit more understanding of how it affects my life and my performance and my productivity. So again, I froze. And what came out of me was these vague traits of, I'm distracted, or I can't focus, or, which, by the way, is very legit, but to someone is this, we all have it. And okay. So it left me feeling, again, very, very shitty, more confused than before. It left me in a place where it added even more questions to myself. I added more questions to myself than I already had. I went into some sort of a spiral and kept questioning myself, like, am I actually just being lazy? Am I exaggerating? Everyone else seems to have their shit together and they're doing just fine. And what is my issue? Like, what's wrong with me? And I'm so, so sorry if anyone ever had to feel like this, because it sucks so bad. That feeling when you think that there is something wrong with you, no one should ever feel like that. There is nothing wrong with us. Again, that's probably for a different podcast about ADHD and late diagnosis, but there is nothing wrong with us. It's just that we need some different ways of working, and that's fine, and that should be fine. It's damaging. Like this, if someone is questioning you and you don't really know what is going on and you start blaming yourself for something, it can be really, really damaging for anyone. And I feel like, especially if you have been masking for 30 plus years, and for 30 plus years you haven't really felt yourself, and you have been in this fake setting, and just now you try and learn that, okay, something is off, but I'm still trying to figure out what it is and why. It's very damaging. So what I would tell this person now, what I would tell this person in corporate language, I would suggest to look into the topic of neurodiversity and to look into support systems for neurodiverse folks. And that when she has done that, we can have a follow-up meeting with concrete steps. Without corporate language and without decorating it, I would say, bitch, do better. Just do better. For me, it feels very, very absurd that someone who is in charge of corporate culture and is dealing with the people working in the environment, in the company, doesn't know something very basic. So why it's important to call it out, and also for anyone in a place of making decisions to be aware and take action, is that the neurodiverse person most probably is already struggling to keep up and is struggling to meet the criteria, to meet the normality, right? The amount and effort I remember I was putting into masking and pretending that I can fit in, that I can easily work in the office, that I can easily spend time in traffic and then perform exactly like everyone else, it was a lot. And I remember days when I came back home and I would just fall into bed and stare into the ceiling. My ears were ringing, I was dizzy, I couldn't form a sentence. For me, the point is that there have to be, and there are, simple ways any manager, any HR can do and find to educate themselves and to support, but like really support their employees, their colleagues, not just on the paper, not just as a tick box, but like actually support. And although I believe in action over awareness, in this case, at least be aware. Like, we don't live under a rock. We have access to information, to so much information from so many different sources. Just do it. You don't even have to do your own research. Someone else has done it. Go and take it, use it, check it out. Most of the times, okay, no, I don't want to generalize, because the support that different people need is very, very different. But a lot of times the support needs can be very, very small in some cases. So those can be very small adjustments, which, by the way, will benefit everyone. I'm pretty sure about that. Like, if we look at how brains work, from what I am aware of, even the neurotypical brains are different and work differently. So it's not like now you will single out one person and give them all the benefits, and it's not about that. You don't have to single anyone out, and it's not like you're gonna give something extra now to someone. Oh my God, if that happens, right? Small actions can make differences, a lot of difference, huge difference. Simple as that. Funny, in this case, to this specific story, I have heard some people telling me, not many, by the way, but still, there is this, yeah, but maybe not everyone knows about ADHD. No. I completely disregard these kind of questions, comebacks, comments. I'm not talking about a chit chat with a random person somewhere on the street or in a cafe. Okay? I'm talking about a person, as I said, who is in charge of creating company's culture, creating a safe environment for all employees, not just the management. Okay? And it's, as I said again, it's not like nowadays there's no information about ADHD and that is something so very new and we all live under a fucking rock. We don't. Okay, so a simple Google search gives plenty and easy to digest information. And probably also some guidelines on how to support these neurodiverse people in workplaces. Yeah. I think it's very easy. Like, if you want to benefit everyone, there are ways. If you want to. That's it. Those were the 3 stories. Now, there is a general, bullshitometer, I would say, summary. Bullshitometer is absolutely lagging and absolutely misfiring when it hears terms like employee well-being, people first, and the most garbage one, we are all like family here. I'm allergic to this. the more I see and hear them, the more allergic I get to them. And honestly, it gives me this ick of like, okay, so you probably just have a tick box, like a checklist, and that's all. It's literally on paper, because like, it's very easy to put these fancy terms on a paper on this shiny policy, and every now and then give this box of donuts or do a half-assed workshop about whatever, or send a message to take a vacation, for you to take a vacation and tick a box like we're taking care of your well-being. That's not well-being. I think I'm gonna explode. Until there are practical steps. And the people who actually at any point might need support feel safe requesting it, all these employee well-being people first, it's a load of crap. Okay. Action over awareness. Being aware is fine up to a point. At one point, we need to act. We need to make sure that people feel safe. People feel safe feeling what they need to feel. People feel safe expressing, and people feel safe asking for help. And that asking for help will not be seen as a threat or as you being less of a value. That is load of garbage. And unfortunately, I see that still happens, and people do not feel safe. And it's like, we praise the burnout, we praise the overworking, we praise that you are stressed. It's like, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm so tired. Excuse me. I'm not sharing it to, to bond over stress. I don't want, I have done it, obviously, because also sometimes when you share with people around you, like, I'm going through something and I feel really depressed, I feel really shitty. Oh, we all have something. Yeah, no shit. I know that we all have something. I know that everyone has their own struggles of any kind, but you telling me that we all have something doesn't make me feel much better, though. In fact, sometimes I feel like it diminishes the feeling, like, oh, okay, maybe I am exaggerating. Same with ADHD, very similar experiences. Like, I'm really struggling with focusing. I'm really struggling with starting the test. Yeah, I sometimes also have this. Okay. How does that make me feel better? How does it help? Not even to make me feel better. How does it help? So yeah. So these are my reflections. Again, honestly, I feel like a lot of crap just fell over my shoulders. I'm getting chills. Throughout this whole episode, I have been getting like chills just sharing this. As I said, it has been a while that I wanted to share this. I thought maybe to do like Instagram reels, but as you can see, I have so much to say about this that it doesn't fit in a small Instagram reel. And also, I believe it is very important to call this crap out, as I have been repeating multiple times. That's that. And let's close the cycle. Let's close the circle. Like, back to what sparked this spontaneous episode, this rant, this personal therapy session. So in this wonderful group, as I said, there was this prompt: what would you say online if you gave 0 fucks of what someone might think? So I did share a much shorter version in the group, so that's what I would be sharing, la la. And the admin of this group shared her feedback and a suggestion that maybe I could be the person educating workplaces about ADHD. And I felt immediately, like, inside of me, it was like, nah, no, absolute no, hell no. And something sparked. It was like I felt electrocuted, like electricity just sparked, something lit up. And it was like, no, I don't give a shit about educating workplaces. Because at one point I did have a thought, maybe I could, do that. No, no. I felt so much resistance towards the thought of educating workplaces about ADHD. Like, it almost got overwhelming. And then it kicked in. Yes, I do not care about educating workplaces, but why? Because I don't believe in these systems anymore. I don't believe in these patterns anymore, especially the corporate systems, the corporate world. I don't believe it. They were never created for people neurodivergent or neurotypical. Doesn't matter. They were never created for people. I don't believe in this unrealistic box. We were never designed to live in, to work in, to fit in. It's unrealistic, the box that has been created and has been conditioned as the only truth and the only way of doing things. Like, I don't want to be someone's tick in the box to be more aware and to cover the employee well-being quota. Gives me massive ick. I would rather be the person reminding people, like reminding you that you don't have to take any kind of bullshit, corporate or not, and that it's okay to step out of these systems that we were forced to believe as the only normal. It's about time we step out of the systems that reward pressure, reward double standards, reward one box fits all, reward overachieving, burnout, and that's the norm. It's time that we step out of this shit. And these, now that I'm also saying out loud, I wrote it, but I'm saying it out loud, it feels more my truth than anything I have ever said about ADHD or mental health. Ever. The system is broken, and I don't want to be part of it. Like, I feel like I want to encourage people as much as possible that it's okay to leave places and call out bullshit. Like, it's okay to set boundaries, to change, to evolve, to do better for yourself. It's okay to do it. And I know that it's not always easy. But trust your gut. Trust your bullshitometer. We all have a bullshitometer. 100%. Trust it. If you sense bullshit, there is a reason why you sense it. There is a reason why you feel what you feel. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should leave their job now. I mean, I don't want to be responsible for that. Unless you really want to. And your instinct, your intuition is saying that you have to do it. Then trust your gut. Go for it. And if something is hurting your physical or mental health, please reconsider what matters more, your health or that shitty work. Okay. It's not easy. It might take some time. It's not easy. I know it from experiences. In the past 5 or so years, I have left 3 or 4 companies. And I know it can be scary. I left places without having backup plan, without even having savings. Okay. And it wasn't always easy. I will leave that for another story though. But it's very rewarding at the end. The moment when we start unlearning, so the moment I started unlearning these must do or should do or whatever crap, whatever terms and conditions someone else has been setting on us for centuries. The moment when we start unlearning those, it's so freaking rewarding. It can be so rewarding, can be so liberating as well. Okay. And these realizations that I'm sharing right now, they came after a ton of healing and a ton of reflection on myself, my values, on these experiences that I shared earlier, on my intuition, reconnecting with myself again. and listening to myself, like not just me as Eliza, but like the true me. And most of the time, I'm a huge believer in the knowing. I know that everything will work out for me. I know that even better things are coming for me. Again, as I said, whenever I left those jobs, I didn't have anything like prepared what will follow. Okay, there have been times I couldn't pay for rent, not that long ago. But I knew, I had this huge knowing that I knew that something will change. And I knew that even better things are coming for me. Save this as a mantra if you want to. Even better things are coming for me. When you know, like when you trust your bullshitometer and you know that you cannot stay in these places where the bullshitometer is just exploding, and you go out with this, I know that even better things are coming for me, you'll be fine. It will be challenging. Yes, it might be challenging. But I believe if you trust yourself and you trust your gut, it will all work out. We can talk about the actual job changes and the mindset I was having all of the times and how it also changed. We can talk about it separately in a different recording. I would love to do it, but I think again I need that spark, that fire under my butt to just make this conversation happen and to make this summary happen. And as for the prompt, one more thing. What would you say online if you gave 0 fucks of what someone might think? I did it. I said it. I actually said it out loud online. I'm so fucking proud. That's it. I did it. What a journey. I truly feel this was like my personal therapy session. Actually, I felt at one point like cutting cords from the past and kind of look into the something new for myself, something new even for MeTimePod. So it has been huge. And I feel very, very grateful that I had the chance to share this. I'm very, very grateful for you listening, that you came all the way till the end of this recording. It's crazy. Crazy what's happening out there, right? Yeah. I think that's that. That's about my experiences in the corporate world. I do have the tradition, and although I don't have a guest, doesn't mean I will not keep the tradition. The tradition involves these beautiful, colorful cards, connection vibes cards. And let's see what the question of today shows. I will take blue one, middle ground of like medium depth question. And let's say perhaps it resonates also with today's conversation. Here. It matches my nails. Let's see, maybe this one. When do you feel truly seen by someone? When I can be me and I'm not judged, I don't feel judged. It's a good one. And perhaps also if around people, especially if around people, because I can be myself whenever, but if I'm in a group or with just one person and I can share something and it resonates, and not even if it doesn't resonate, but the person is like, I get you. I am, I can understand that whatever it is this or that or whatever. That's when I feel seen. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I feel seen doing MeTimePod. Yeah. I feel seen doing MeTimePod. And I feel like by me feeling seen and just doing what I'm doing, I can maybe help you feeling seen as well. Because I'm sure that we are not alone, and we don't have to be alone. We don't have to go through things alone. So, yeah, that. Beautiful souls, this has been a long conversation. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you. I always say I don't know where I'm going, but I know it's going to be meaningful. You know what? I know where I'm going, and I still know it's going to be meaningful. So let's keep it at that. Have a beautiful day, beautiful soul, and see you at the next one. Ciao.